Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen. I love talking to creative people who do different things. I think art and creativity make life worth living, make the tough times endurable. And where would we be without all of that stuff? So I love to lift up people that do it. Today, my guest is a visual artist, Nino Alicea. I've known him for over 20 years. We met at a wedding. He was working at the Bel Air Hotel and became friendly, and there was a period of time when he was performing in a show that I co-hosted called The Village Variety Pack at the Gay and Lesbian Center. And then I started to notice on Facebook he would post these projects that he was working on as an art director or as an artist, doing big props. He worked on the Ricky Martin tour, creating props and drums and things like that, and went on the road with Ricky. And then more recently, in the last 10 years or so, he started creating major works for Burning Man, like big, art installations that you work on for a year and then you go and do it at Burning Man and everyone gets to enjoy it. And so I was really interested in that. How do you do that? How does that work? And two of his pieces that he created for Burning Man are now on display for at least a year in San Francisco along the Embarcadero. One of them is called Got Framed. It's this really cool, giant gold picture frame. It's very ornate and beautiful, and the way it's positioned near the bay there, that like the photo ops are off the charts, and the workmanship and the technique. And then Nino tells the story of like why he chose to do certain things with it. It's really cool. The other one is called Atabey's Treasure, and it's this steel fish that is coming out of the water with its mouth open. And Nino talks about the inspiration of that and how he used pizza tins for the gills, which I love. So those are going to be up on display for at least a year in San Francisco, and it's part of a larger art installation there, so you can walk along the Embarcadero and see all that cool stuff. But before we get to the interview, I want to thank you for a year of support and for keeping this going another year. I might have one or two more before the end of the year, maybe one, but thank you. This has been a great year in terms of the conversations we got to have. So if you like this podcast and want to support it, there's a few things you can do. You can go to DennisAnyone.net, leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. You could subscribe to my Patreon or Substack. It's called Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. I do an episode a week. It's about a half hour. It's similar to this in terms of talking about creativity and pop culture and things I've seen and done. But I like to end every episode with a little nugget about happiness, the science of it, tips that I've learned, things that have helped me in my life. I've become very interested in that topic, and I love to chew on it with folks. So go to Substack or Patreon and search Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. You can also pre-order my party game Search Party. I don't think it's going to get here in time for Christmas, you guys. We thought we could, but there were some hiccups, blah, blah. But you can still pre-order it. They are somewhere between here and China right now. And you can do that at youdon'tknowmylife.com/search party. It's really fun. I can't wait to have them in my hands and get them to all the people that have already pre-ordered. I appreciate it. Finally, you could become a subscriber to DNR Studios. I'm part of a group of shows with those crazy kids, Derek and Romaine. If you subscribe to DNR Studios, you get my show early and you get all these other great queer shows. So go to dnrstudios.com to learn about that. All right, enough of the plugs. Here now is my interview with the visual artist Nino Alicea. Joining me now from Los Angeles, it's my friend Nino Alicea, who is in LA now, but has something very exciting happening in San Francisco. And when I saw the post, I'm like, we got to talk about this. I'm fascinated. So welcome to the podcast, Nino.
Thank you, Dennis. It's so good to see you again. And thank you for inviting me.
We met many years ago. And yes. Do you remember where we originally met?
Yes, we did. I do.
At a friend's wedding.
At a Hotel Bel Air.
Yes. And yeah, we met there, and this would, I don't know, it had been, early 2000s? Like, I'm trying to remember. It might have been 90s. What's your recollection of when that might have been?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah, because I think I worked there until 2009.
Yeah.
And then we started, like, just having all these mutual friends that we continue cross-passing and doing things together.
And then when I was hosting and producing this variety show at the Gay and Lesbian Center called The Village Variety Pack with my friend Michael Anthony, you performed in that a lot. There was like this troupe that would do like crazy sketches and songs and stuff. What do you remember about that time?
Oh my gosh. Well, I know that we went viral with one video.
What video went viral?
The Rent-A-Rican video.
Oh, Rent-A-Rican. All right.
Yes. Yeah, it actually went viral. It was actually even on the newspaper in Puerto Rico on front page.
I did not know that. And so you were the Rican that somebody would rent.
Correct.
Right.
So basically, it just became, we crossed some lines.
Sure.
Like if your parties are too boring or your parties are too white, you come and rent a Rican.
There you are.
And it will show up, and it was like the beginning of the video is all black and white, and then when I show up, it was all very colorful.
Exactly, which is, that's, you bring a lot of beauty and color and wonder to the world. So I would start to notice on Facebook that you were doing more art directing type stuff. I noticed you worked on the Ricky Martin tour. I remember those posts. And you were doing like big props and set pieces and things for that, right? Talk about that.
So so in 2017, I was fortunate enough to, I was just in between gigs and jobs, and a friend of mine, a producer friend of mine, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, could you help me tomorrow to be part of like just helping me doing some PA work for this audition aspect for Ricky's show?" Right. I've known Ricky for many years. And I said, you know what? I have nothing to do tomorrow. Why not? And I'm going to spend my day with my friend. Right. And so I decided, I'll do it. And then it was in this warehouse in Burbank. But it was like a little rundown warehouse. Sure. And that's where you're going to have all the rehearsals for Ricky's all-in residency in Las Vegas. Right. So I believe it was called All In. I think it was called All In, which as a gay person, that has a lot of meanings. And I was like, good for you, Ricky. I'm sure it wasn't lost on him. Like, it's all in. Is it all in? Yeah. Oh God, it's all in. We're all in. Anyways, I appreciate the title. So that actually was a huge catalyst for me, because I just went for that one day to help my friend. And then the following day, say, "Hey, we need more help tomorrow. Are you available?" And say, "Yeah, I'm available." And I went and helped her again. And then at that point, I started realizing that they were also doing this filming of like the behind the scenes of how getting Ricky to make this residency in Las Vegas, right? And the green room where he basically was, every time that he was not in rehearsals, it was really run down. It was really crappy. It looked terrible. It had patches on and they were like, "We can't film." Right. This is not going to work for a documentary. This is too really. Yeah. So my friend who knew that I had already done some art directing and also design work. I don't know if you remember that show, American Dream Builders, with Nate Berkus. So I worked on that one too in the design team. Right. So she already knew. Yeah, she knew that about me, and she said, "Hey, Nino, will you be interested in remodeling this room so it looks nice for camera and for us to be able to film Ricky in his green room?" And I said, "Sure." And I took the challenge, and she gave me a really crappy budget, and I found a bunch of like free furniture, and I put it all together really nicely, and we painted the walls, and the artistic director, Jamie King, saw what I did with the room, and he said, "Hey, so we have these props that we have to bring to life. Are you interested in helping us out, making it nice and making it?" And I said, "Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm free right now, so why not? Let's do it." And let's do it. And I ended up doing all the props for the whole entire show. And they were like big drums and things like that, right? Yeah. I remember seeing videos. Yeah. So the drums, I just basically painted them and I crafted, because they're now full of leather and cow rye kind of skin. They were completely plain. They were like nothing on them, and I just created them. And then there was this huge dice in wheels, because, you know, he was going to Vegas. So it was like the whole idea that, you know, rolling the dice.
Yeah, he's rolling the dice. He's all in.
Yeah. And then we also had feathers at the beginning of the show that, you know, they didn't want to do the you know, iconic Vegas kind of flamingo kind of feather style. So they wanted to do something a little different, but with feathers. And it was ostrich feathers.
Right on.
And and I did that. And then just the playing cards and the bolos, which is actually something that the dancers use as the action. So I created all that, and then one thing led to the other. And once we were done with rehearsals, at that point I had received my first honoraria art grant from Burning Man in 2017 to build the owl. And as I'm, you know, basically I'm looking at the calendar, and I could actually be on tour with him, also do the owl, and then come back and finish the tour with him. So you could do both. You didn't have to choose. Yeah, I could do. So basically, I went into my personal calendar and see, hey, you know what? But at that point, I wasn't part of the project at all. Right. So I reached out to the tour manager, and I just basically say, hey, what is happening to all the props that I just made? Right. And he said, well, they're going to go to Vegas, and they're going to be on tour. And I say, so who's taking care of them? And and he looks at me and say, probably, you know, backstage crew, but we don't have anybody. Are you interested? And I say, as a matter of fact, I am. Yes. and they actually created that position as a prop master for me, because they knew that I built them. Right. And somebody has to take care of them and make sure they're packed up and maintained and like don't get all scuffed, and like they needed you. Especially they get used and abused every night, every performance. So it's you know, there was a lot of repairing or replacing going on through the whole entire tour. And then after the residency ended, they loved the show so much they didn't want to finish it. So then we went on actually the world tour with it. Wow. And I saw that he's coming back. And I went with my props. You went with your props. And I saw that he's coming back to do Yamava in like December, like soon. Ricky is. So, yeah. I mean, it's still very good and really good. I'm glad that, you know, we had a beautiful journey. Yeah. My art took priority. Right. And then, you know, like, for example, I did Mukaro, my owl. And then 2 years later, we built the fish Atabey treasure, which is the one that is now in San Francisco. Right. And then last year we did Coquille Frog, and that's been in the Western Lights Festival in Reno, and also the Los Angeles County Fair. Yeah. And it will be at the Los Angeles County Fair this year as well. Oh, fantastic. I have to go see it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Please do. And it was actually their first art installation ever in the history of the LA County Fair. Oh, wow. So I popped their cherry. There you go. Thank you. And you were gentle and kind, and you were everything they needed you to be. So what we're talking about is you create these giant installations, these giant art pieces that start at Burning Man, and then two of them are currently having this wonderful life in San Francisco. So talk about the San Francisco, what the whole thing is, and then we'll go into each individual piece. Because when I saw the pictures, I was like, Nino, this is so cool. So what is the whole thing? There's multiple pieces involved, right? So I have to like go a little bit back. Sure. So in 2015, I had already been to Burning Man several years, but in 2015, I decided to bring my personal and own art installation, and that was called Got Framed. Right. And then I find out that besides being the first Puerto Rican to ever bring art to Burning Man in the history of Burning Man, right, I also was one of the first queer artists as well. Fuck yeah. So, yeah. So I was representing, you were stepping it up. So Got Framed is one of the ones that's currently in San Francisco. So that was was that your first Burning Man? That was my first. It's this ornate gold frame.
And it's and it's beautiful. And what I love about the pictures that you see is people are allowed to be on it and interact with it. Because so many wonderful works of art, they're like, don't touch. But this is sort of meant to be interacted with, right? So people can go to your website, Leave It to Nino, and also your Instagram and Facebook to see these amazing pictures. And there'll be some that are part of this art. But where did you first get the idea for Got Framed? Like, what inspired that?
So Got Framed was actually a second idea. My first idea was I wanted to create this trees with swings.
Right.
Like this wooden trees with swings, and then put a frame far away enough that you can actually then it was framed that you were playing in trees and swinging in trees.
Right.
But what happened was that then the frame kind of took over. The
frames upstaged the tree.
Yeah. And what I decided to do is for Burning Man, I added ladders on the side and monkey bar on top. So the idea was to bring all your friends and you create your masterpiece around the frame. So you could actually climb it and be part of, like you can be upside down, sideways, doing any kind of gymnastic or fun things around it. And that's a Burning Man. Once you bring a project like that to what we call the default world in San Francisco, they told me that I needed to not have the ladders or the monkey bar. So that was actually. So, but it's still frameable and people can stand on it.
Right.
And then as we were going through the process of finding the location that this Building 180 is the people that are hiring. Building 180 wanted to place it there in this particular location called Pier 7.
Right.
I found out through the history of Pier 7 that is a big skateboard community area. So in the process of engineering it and in process of just redesigning it in metal, because the original was wood, this is metal, I decided to make it skatable. So I wanted to embrace their community instead of to fight it. And it's been great. I mean, it's been getting beat up, but that's just a little part that we can be replaced if we move it around. But I'm so happy that I see photos of people skateboarding on it or, challenging through it, or I even found these people roller skating on it. So it's been just a lot of fun to share that one piece with not just the Burning Man community, but also now with, visitors and locals from San Francisco.
It's going to be there for a year, right? At least? Yeah,
possibly two.
Fantastic. Yes. And the way that it's... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so that one, the reason... So if you get close to the piece, it has 91 roses on each side.
Right.
And it was dedicated to my grandma's 91st birthday.
Amazing.
And that was my gift to her for her 91st birthday, and back in 2015.
Yeah.
And so we she has transitioned since then. But at the same time, I wanted to continue honoring her, and I'm so happy that her roses are still up in San Francisco. Oh, I forgot to say, her name was Rosamelia.
Right.
So I basically honor her name by putting 91 roses in the frame.
Beautiful. How big is this thing that we're looking at?
It's 12 feet high.
Right.
By 14 feet long.
Yeah.
By 2 feet wide.
So I could see you have the vision for this. And you probably have enough experience to go, okay, it has to be made out of either this or this or this. How do you know how? I could see having an idea for this, but how do you do it?
My goodness. Well, it takes a village.
Right.
Going back to our village. Yeah. It takes a village. I just been very fortunate to curate a really great group of friends.
Right.
Well, talented people have become people that work with me, and then now we become a family, and we are now friends. Like the engineer that helped me out with the frog and the one that I did this year was my engineer for to help me re-engineer the frame and also help me with the fish. He's now my best friend. Like we can't wait. Like we're already planning a trip in January. We're already having another project in May. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like you have to like find like-minded people that are interested in just going through the journey with you, and then they have the talents that perhaps I don't have. Because I don't have an engineering experience. So, but now I have someone that does, and we can discuss. I share with him my ideas. Excuse me. I share with him my ideas, and then he is basically the one saying, "Okay, we need to tone it down here.
Right.
This
isn't possible.
We need to make it. Yeah, this is possible. This is not possible.
Right.
Da, da, da. Like at one point, and going back to my owl, I wanted to make it 40 feet tall, and then everybody was like, "Hey, heavy equipment can only go so far, and this, that, and we're in the desert, so we toned it down to 32, but still was tall enough."
What's Got Framed made out of? What are the materials?
Steel. It's made of
all
steel.
Solid steel.
It's all steel, inside and outside now.
Yeah.
I actually made it of steel. I mean, it was going to be next to the water.
Yeah.
And so I needed to make it weather resistant, and also is because in the area on Pier 7, it doesn't have electrical connections, so I made it solar. So the top of the frame, instead of having a steel basically base, is all solar panels that are connected through the inside. That's why. So
there are parts that light up because there is.
Yeah.
Right.
At night. So we changed it till during the days. It's a gold frame, and then at night it's more of a golden frame, but it glows from the inside out.
It's gorgeous, and it must be so fun to see the way people visit it and take pictures, and how much joy it's getting people. Do they tag you on their pictures, and you're able to see what they're doing?
Some of them do, some of them don't. Sometimes I find people that tag me on Instagram, but we're not friends.
Right.
So by the time that I finally see that there's a story, the story already kind of ended.
Right.
But it's good to see that there are that many people are posting it and enjoying it, which is why I made it, and to make sure that it's such a popular and touristic area in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that people are receiving it the way they are.
How do you transport it? It's in pieces, I imagine. Like, how do you get it up there?
So that's part of the engineering.
Right.
Because you have to, when you're actually building or designing it, it has to break down, and the sizes of your installations, they either have to fit in a box truck. It depends where they're going to, because, like, for example, when I built the coquille, it came in an open bed, semi kind of thing. But that one, I wasn't too worried about people kind of touching it overnight or anything like that.
Right.
But you have tools and things that can walk away easily.
Right.
Then that's when you have to have a box truck to make sure that nothing kind of especially what I was just even mentioning, the solar panels. It's like you have to have a little bit more secure place for it to let dry. So anyways, going back is basically you design it in a way that it collapses well enough to fit in big transportation trucks.
Right. It's so cool to see the way people use the frame, because the backdrop of it is the pier, which is very kind of cinematic looking, and it's just amazing. So let's talk about your other one, which is called Atabey's Treasure. Am I saying that name right?
Atebay.
Atebey's Treasure. So where does the name come from, first of all?
So Atebay is going back to all my art installations, I always link them to Puerto Rico in one way or another. The first one for my grandma, the second one, the owl called Mucaro, which is the owl that lives in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And I dedicated that to my mom. And Atabey's Treasure was more dedicated about Puerto Rico after the hurricanes.
Right.
So it's actually Atabey is the goddess of fresh water in the Taino indigenous people from Puerto Rico.
Nice.
She's basically the Taino indigenous people worship a goddess, not a god, and she's the goddess of the island. And I wanted to give her some sort of honor and tribute. And since she's the goddess of fresh water, that's why I kind of designed the fish coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
It has many symbolisms, mainly because, a fish coming out of the water, we might be running out of water pretty soon. So,
right.
And we would just make sure that things get back into just being more aware of how we're treating our planet.
Yeah.
And then especially after having my own personal experiences in Puerto Rico after the Hurricane Maria and all those, I just wanted to give some sort of voice for people to not forget that happened. Because, when one catastrophe happens,
there's so much.
Then
things just keep moving on.
And then the next catastrophe happens, it takes over.
Right.
And then you forget about that one.
And then people are still trying to rebuild their lives,
Exactly.
But the media's moved on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
so I'm just trying to create some sort of awareness to it. One is also made out of steel. And I wanted to look for something round for the scales. Right. And in my research, I just started looking what can we can attach to the skin of the fish. And I found pizza pans.
Their pizza pans are the scales? That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's recycled pizza pans.
Right.
So they're all recycled pizza pans. I found this restaurant company and they, and we worked it out. And then I figured out how to make them look like scales, but also when we attach them to the skin to create the space in between the scales far enough to make sure that when it's lit at night, the shine goes through them.
It's beautiful. The eye, what is the eye of the fish made of? It's more of a smooth circle.
Yeah, so the eyes are, the security mirrors that when people go to stores for people not to bump into each other?
Right. They're also to make sure that you're not shoplifting so the clerk can see you.
Yes.
I once got busted reading a Playgirl magazine in a convenience store as a teenager because of one of those mirrors. And I was humiliated, but I didn't get in trouble. But so that's one of those mirrors that you would see in like a CVS. Wow. Yes. Ingenious. Yeah,
those are the eyes because I wanted the eyes to pop out of the, like a fish eye.
Yeah, it's not flat. It's got a curvature to it. When you talked about the message of it, the environmental ideas around it, now you look at it and it almost feels like in one way the fish could be calling out for help or like a cry for help because the way the mouth is open, And on one hand it could be joyful and fun, but there's that other thing of like, oh, this fish is in trouble. This fish needs help. And it's sort of, I guess, in the eye of the beholder, but that's not an accident. That's something that you wanted to be part of the installation.
Correct. I wanted to create that kind of awareness. Yeah. But then through creating that kind of awareness, I also wanted to be fun and whimsical. And what I did also, when I put it at Burning Man for the first time, I strategically placed it that if you took a photo far enough, it looked like the fish was eating the man. Yeah. And then for San Francisco, I put it strategically that it can actually, if somebody is there early in the morning, it can actually be eating the sun, or if you're there for full moon, it can be eating the moon.
How close are your two installations together in San Francisco? Could you walk along and see all the different ones? Because there's an assortment, right?
Correct. So Building 180 created this. Basically, their goal is with another foundation that is the one that is funding this project, is that their goal is to bring 100 art installations in 3 years to San Francisco, and they're calling it the Big Art Loop, and it goes all the way even through the Golden Gate Park.
Fantastic.
And so I'm on the first 10 of the group.
Right.
I think it's 11. And then from the 11, I'm the only one with 2.
Look at you. Now, how did you find out you were in it? Did you apply? Was it a process, or did somebody see it somewhere and think, oh, this will be good?
So they had already kind of reached out to me, and then they said, please, can you go ahead? This is our website. Can you please add it onto our list? And then what happened was the foundation that I'm telling you about, Sanji Foundation.
Right.
I'm butchering their name.
That's okay.
So the main person loved the frame a lot, and then Building 180 loved the fish a lot. So basically, they just say, well, let's just bring both. So that's how they connected me and they contacted me. Now we're actually working on figuring out if we're going to do another project at the Golden Gate Park, which is I'm really hoping that it can work out. And it will be more like in the same world of the Mucaro and the Coqui world, not so much metal, more like wood and more organic. And it's been a really fun experience to have and to be recognized and be asked to be part of this. Like I'm the tallest and biggest art installation with Atabay's fish. But if you go through the Embarcadero path, I'm basically at closer to Pier 40.
Right.
But if you go all the way to Pier 7, that's when right now they have like the few art installations, but you walk through them and you'll see about 10 of them.
Fantastic. I really want to see them, and I love that it's up there for at least a year. Or you said maybe in 2. Talk to me about how one gets an art installation at Burning Man. What is that process? Because you can't just decide to show up with a bunch of stuff and do it. There's a whole thing, right? How do you do it?
Well, so my first one got framed. It was it's something that I really wanted to do to bring a gift to my grandma. And that one was self-funded. But then through the process of me bringing this art installation on my own, to Burning Man, I found out that they also give these grants to artists. And so I started applying. And my first year that I applied was for the owl, and I got declined. And I went back into the books, regrouped it and redesigned it. And because I really wanted to make this one particular happen. And then the following year, I got the grant. So when you receive the grant, it's a little bit better, easier because you have now some funding.
Right.
But I think that they have about 500 art installations every year.
Right.
At Burning, only 75 installations get some funding.
Wow.
And they don't even get and they don't even get the full funding. They only get a partial part of the funding, and then you have to go. That's why you see all the crowdfunding links during Burning Man. Please help my installation and things like that to make it reality. And so that's what is happening. That's what you get some funding, but it's not a full amount. Right. It has to be within you. Even if you don't get it or you don't get the honoraria, are you willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen? Which is what I actually have trying to mentor now every other artist that I encounter. I'm being fortunate enough and honored enough to get 5 grants through them. I think they like me.
Yeah, it seems so.
And so on top of the, saying that is also that I deliver something that they enjoy and they like to put it on for people to also enjoy for that 1 week that we do it for. But it's a lot of sacrificing. I mean, it takes, like, for example, it takes almost close to a year to prepare for it. Like a lot of people that are trying to do installations for this next year in 26, you're already working on plans, crew, figure out like funding, transportation, lodging. So there's a lot of other factors that come with it. But once you do it and once you see, My favorite part is when you see people enjoying it. And my favorite part is when you see people and you don't tell them that it's yours. Like you're just a visitor like them. You act like you don't even know what this installation is, and then how they communicate and how they talk to each other and how much, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And this is just that feeds my soul. Yeah. To the point that it's like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I do all this kind of crazy sacrifices for 1 year, where I basically just detach from everything else. And I try to do my production design jobs for film and commercials or anything like that in between, because then those kind of jobs gives me the freedom to not having to work for a periods of time. Right.
You're able to take some time off and stuff like that. Do you have to get approval from them to show up with an art piece? Oh, yeah. If you're self-funding, you can't just show up with it. You have to, and they tell you where you're going to be and all that stuff.
Correct. So it's called it's called the artery, and the artery, you have to submit your art installation through the artery department. Right. And they actually have, because they place you around the playa. Yeah. And you also want to be placed mainly because where you're camping, it should be close to where you're actually placing your installation. Yeah. Otherwise it's a big long ride bike. Yeah. Yeah. No, like the bike ride is just really long, and and after a week installing it and then another week of the event, your legs start getting tired. Yeah. And your privates too area. I'm sure. So you just try to make the commute less, but they do a great job at organizing that aspect of it. There's people that show up with the installation and they never register. Right. They usually they're small pieces. Yeah. And they find placement for them, but the placement will be pretty far out into the area. It depends on the size.
Did you go to Burning Man as just a regular attendee before you decided, I'm going to try to make art there?
Oh, yeah. So in 2010, end of 2010, I had a really bad, not bad. I don't want to say that we're bad, but I had a very challenging breakup. Yeah. With my 10-year relationship. And at that point, I had saved money to travel, and decided that I was going to travel and I was just going to do something for me. And I chose Machu Picchu, and I was going to go to Machu Picchu, and nobody's going to stop me, and I'm going to do the whole camping.
Right. And I'm going to come back different, and I'm going to move on. Yeah. Yes, I get it.
Yeah. And and as that was happening, I looked at the calendar and I completely forgot that sometimes our summer is our winter. Yeah. Our winter is our summer. But I already had saved all this money and said, well, no, I need to do something. And one of my dear friends, Sage, had already invited me 3 times, and I already had declined it. Right. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy my ticket to Burning Man for my first time. And in 2011, I went for my first time with her camp, which now a lot of those people are still part of my crew. Yeah. And I went, and when I went, and I remember walking into my first art installation, I was just mind blowing. Like, wow. I mean, people spend time and energy and organization to create this huge art installations for everybody else to enjoy. And then, when you go to also what are their main installations, which is the man and the temple. Right. And, you only can see them for a week, because at the end of the week, they're burnt. They're gone. That's it. So it started resonating with me about impermanence, about, things that sometimes we take for granted. And in the case, my grandma, I knew that she was already, getting up there. And I said, you know what? I want to build something. I want to create something. As opposed to talk about it, I really want to execute. And in 2014, as I was leaving, because I went 11, 12, 13, 14, and when 14 was leaving, I decided, hey, I'm going to create my first art installation. Interesting enough, I wanted to do it for 14, but I was not organized enough yet. And because I wanted to do it for her 90th birthday. Right. But then it had to wait one more year, so that it became her 91st birthday. I'm glad that she still.
Did she see photos of it? How did you communicate to her that you were doing it for her, and the immensity of it? Did she?
Oh yeah.
What was her reaction like?
Oh, and she was so proud and so happy. But the one comment that I will always remember is that, as I mentioned earlier, her name is Rosamelia,
right?
And I told her that I did roses around, like rosas.
Yeah.
And she said, "But Nino, my full name is Rosamelia." And I said, "Yeah, well, I used part of your name to dedicate, to create a motif for the frame. Say, but everyone loves Rosamelia."
Right.
And I was like,
yeah, she didn't quite nail it all the way. Yeah.
I forgot the Melia.
Yeah. Somehow she
called me on it.
She called you on it. She totally called you on it. People go to Burning Man and I've never been, but I think I would like to go sometime. I just had eye surgery because I always think about my contacts out there, but I think maybe I could do it now because I don't have contacts anymore. But anyway, they have sort of, I don't know, profound soul searching kinds of experiences. You also have a big job to do. So you can't just be like, I'm going to just chill on the desert and see what it feels like. What's the experience like for you? Because it's hard work, but there also is this feeling in the air of like, community and transcendence and all of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reputation has changed through the years.
Right.
I think it was actually all known back in the day about craziness and drugs and just go completely ballistic and
orgy tents.
Orgy tents, sex, and all that. But what people don't know because they have not experienced it is like it's built like a city. So you'll find whatever you want to find in a city. They have a post office. They have a little hospital that they put together. So there's what is called the center camp, which is like the downtown area,
right?
And it depends of what is actually your mission or what you're proposing to receive when you go there, because the intention matters a lot,
right?
And for me personally, like the sense of community, it was like number one. And then once I started creating art, I wanted to involve that community that had taught me so much to be part of it, in hopes that when we create something together, we of course bond more, but also through the process of doing it with me, I can inspire them to create something for themselves, or like going to, come back and do something different.
Right.
Because they now felt empowered that we created something that it actually was the ripple effect and the paying forward effect. That I really want for them to continue being, getting inspired, and then hopefully through that process, inspire others. So that's actually how I received Burning Man.
Right.
Like, for me, the sex and that didn't mean anything to me, but for me, it was all about sense of community and inspiring others and bringing art and creating art that resonates with people. And that people would like to just see it again, like in this case, wanted to see it again outside the desert. And I'm really lucky to be now in San Francisco, from all cities in the world.
Yeah. Well, both pieces are interesting in San Francisco. The fish, because you're close to the water, but also there's an elegance to the frame that feels very old opera house, San Francisco. Like it feels very like a city, it has a cool quality to it. So you're there a week setting up, you get your installation up. During the actual Burning Man, are you hanging out by yours a lot? Are you walking around? Like what's your favorite part? Do you just like to watch people come up and see your art and just
well, I mean,
drop on them?
Okay, so the first week is all about work,
right?
So and in the conditions that you're put to work, they're not the easiest conditions. The weather can be crazy. The temperatures can be crazy. If we have dust storms, we have to stop.
Right.
Sometimes we can work through them, but there's times that, you have to it's exhausting, and also the altitude takes a lot of energy from you. And I also want to, as the lead artist, I want to also listen to my crew and make sure that they are being taken care of. Right. Because the more I take care of them, the more they take care of me.
Yeah, it's a managing job as well as an artist job.
Yeah, and through that whole process, so we definitely want to hit the deadline to make sure that we finish on time. Yeah. Because we then want to enjoy what we call, that's build week. Then we are now going into event week, where everybody else shows up to enjoy, like you said, the pieces. And yes, there's a part of me that, because you've spent so much time in that little one spot. Yeah. Through 1 week, for some reason, your bicycle always just has to run through it somehow, some way.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I tried. One of my biggest goals is to go and look at other people's art, and enjoy it too, and meet other artists that are trying to do the same thing as I am. One thing that happened for me this year was that I was inspired. I went back to Puerto Rico and I remodeled a immersive museum in Puerto Rico at a park, and it happened that the building in front of the museum was being painted by a muralist. Right. And him and we just connected. He was painting at Mucaro, funny enough, when I met him. And then he told me that he's always had this dream to do something 3-dimensional. And I said, well, if you're in that kind of, mindset, now you know me and I can, mentor you or help you. And I said, really? I said, yeah. So we stay connected. And so the art installation that it was brought this year in 25, it was actually a collaboration between him and I.
That's amazing. What was the theme this year? What was the design?
So this design is actually a bird called Pitirre, and again, connecting with my Puerto Rican roots. And it's actually a bird taking off like it's a rocket. Nice. But we put a saddle on it and reins, so you can sit on it, and it had the sound like a countdown, like you're taking off into space. Wow. Yeah. So it was because the theme was tomorrow, today. Nice. Or today, tomorrow. Yeah. I already forgot. But so it was a very Jetsony kind of theme, and he just fit. The piece fit really well, and it was actually his first art installation ever, and his first time at Burning Man. So I definitely it was, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it, and he was like, "Oh my God, this changed my life." And hearing those words alone is like. It's so amazing to feel that I'm passing the baton in a way. Yeah. I love that. Are you competitive with other artists? Are you like, oh, look what they did. Next year, no. Or is it all like everybody's awesome? We're all here together. There's a combination. I don't feel that I'm competitive because every artist has their style. Right. But I also feel that some styles I'm more drawn into, more. Yeah. Like I really find them more attractive. And then there's other styles that I'm like, eh. Yeah. But I hope that doesn't change anything for that artist. I hope that experience maybe is a catalyst of how to improve it. Right. And how to make it better. And this year worked this way. Maybe next year will work a little bit different. For example, the fish that I have in San Francisco, Atabay's Treasure, the first year that I brought it 2 years in a row. And the first year I brought it, I ran out of time and money. So I had to make the tail out of wood. Right. Even though that's not how I wanted the design to be, I still wanted to bring a piece there. And then the following year, I was able to finish it properly. And that's when the steel tail came and the fins on the fish. So I'm really, there's a process. Right. It's ongoing. Yeah, I learned in 22 that, you have to stretch your money a little bit better. Right. and in 23, I was better at it.
Yeah.
So I hope that, the other artists that I'm telling you about that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I hope that, as they learn, a lot of people, that was their intention, and that was it. I don't want to do anymore.
Right.
And, but there's a lot of other artists in the community that they are building art constantly and every year.
Yeah.
For the community, because that's their calling. Yeah. Which that has become my calling as well.
I think that's so beautiful. Has there ever been a disaster happen where like you got out there and this thing just fell and crumbled, or like have you ever had one of those moments where you're like, oh shit, what are we going to do now?
For Mukaro year,
Mukaro is the owl, right?
Owl, yeah. In 2017. That for Mukaro year, I remember the shit moment was we didn't do a very good account, like screws,
right?
Number.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had all this wood, and we had not enough screws. And I was like, oh shit, what are we going to do? And then my project manager said, I'm going to drive around and start asking other installations if they have extras.
Right.
And thankfully, I also, at that point, I knew someone that was working at the man base. And I reached out, and they brought me a huge box of screws from the man base.
Nice.
So we were able to finish. The owl. But I'm really glad, for other installations, you always have like this one moment of like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Like even this year, the engineer that I mentioned to you earlier, his name is Jesse Cusack, my best friend. We finished the installation early, and we got a little cocky, and we were kind of celebrating. And
right.
And a friend of mine brought a one-wheeler, and Jesse is really good at skateboard, but he was trying the one-wheeler, and he'd been trying it for a few days. I decided to say, hey, since we're done, I'm gonna record you with your one-wheeler. And he got a little too speedy,
right?
And he fell. He broke his left wrist.
Oh shit! At Burning Man. So he was there with a broken wrist the whole time.
He was there, a broken wrist. At Burning Man.
I was afraid he was going to crash into the installation and it'll tumble to the sea.
No. But I mean, and then, we had the incident this year also because we had a really bad dust storm during Bill Week.
Right.
And I think 3 or 4 installations got completely destroyed before they were even able to be seen by anybody.
Heartbreaking. Yeah. When I met you and we became friends and then you did the Village Variety Pack, I never knew there was this visual artist side of you. Has that always been there, or was that something that emerged more as you started to do these kind of projects? Were you always thinking like a visual artist?
Yes. So great question, because back then, we were just, kind of having fun in theater and acting and right. doing silly stuff together. Because I did a minor in theater as well. But my degree is in graphic design.
Right.
And since I was a kid, I have always been drawing and painting. Like I've done murals in Puerto Rico, and I've done, in school, I did all the art projects for the school, and especially my mom as a teacher in the same school I went to. She would want me to draw all these owls for her school, for his room. Right. And holding a diploma with with a hat. And so that's why, the owl always is connecting me to my mom as a teacher. And so I have always been someone that likes to do painting, art, things with my hands, ceramic, sculptures. I just when in 2015, going through that whole process was what actually took me to another level of thinking big. Right. Because I started just, I was not doing things in canvases or little walls, or I was just now thinking about something like even outside of my comfort zone. For sure. But then once I actually had a little taste with it, I forget it. I just took
You're
off.
like off to the races. But that idea that like next year I'm going to have an installation, that's a big goal to set. If you've never done something on that scale before, but you met the moment. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I said right now I said, right now I've done now 2015, 16, 22, 23, 24, 25. So
do you have one plan for 26?
I do. No. So I do have one, but one of my goals, as I mentioned to you earlier, is also inspiring my crew members.
Right.
And Jesse has an idea. And I told him that is Jesse's turn this time.
So you're going to support him. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to support him and just help him out through the whole process. And I already helped him through the first part of the honoraria grant application.
Right.
We're hopefully going through the second one now. We'll find out either today or tomorrow if we go to the next step.
Right.
And then, again, he already heard me. It's like, it's up to us. If we don't get the funding, we don't get the funding. But if you want to make it, we'll just find a way.
We'll just find a way. And yeah. Are the budgets for these things sort of public? Do people say it? Or is it kind of like a movie where it's like, we don't like to talk about that stuff?
Well, this is what I can actually say. The average that they actually give to an art installation is in between 16 to 18,000.
That's if you get a grant. Okay.
It's like if you get a grant.
Okay.
But if you have a bigger project,
you can get more.
A project that you can get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it depends also on the size.
Right.
But they do want to distribute, and that's actually in public. I think it's $1.3 million that they have for a budget for art.
Right. And
they want to distribute it to enough people to bring art and inspire other people to, even if it's, that we had one installation this year was this really beautiful bench that someone dedicated to someone that had transitioned, and why not? I mean, he didn't ask for that much money, but someone made this beautiful bench in honor of somebody else, and I thought it was very touching, and the fact that, it's like you're writing and then you want to take a break and just sit on a bench in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
There was another story that you posted on your Facebook that was actually from several years ago, but you brought it up again. You refurbished or painted or made fabulous this is it a basketball court in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, basketball court. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that. It was the
you've done your research.
It's the Villas de Loíza? Loíza, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that I after Hurricane Maria that happened to me was that I really wanted to continue helping somehow, some way, even though that I'm away. I mean, I live here, but my heart is there.
Right.
I feel like my home. Yeah. And through the whole situation with Hurricane Maria, we did a big drive of donations here in Los Angeles with my best friend, Rosalind Sanchez.
Right.
And at that time, she was pregnant, so she could not bring the installations, the donations herself.
Right.
So I looked at her and said, well, then I'll do it for you. And even after, because we did the whole drive together. And I decided to go, and I experienced it firsthand. The no electricity, the no water,
right.
All the catastrophe that happened through that time. And I even though that I brought all this, donations to the island, and it felt very, gratifying to be able to help my island the way I did. As I was flying back to LA, I felt that I wasn't done. Like I really wanted to do more for them. And that has become a quest for me. And that's why. So one of the things that happened was this foundation called 2K Foundation reached out because they were looking for a Puerto Rican artist to help them with this one project,
right?
Which is refurbishing a basketball court.
Yeah.
And through the process, I came out with the idea that is called Múcaro for Puerto Rico.
Right.
And the design is basically the owl with the flag of Puerto Rico, basically rescuing the star from the flag of Puerto Rico from the fire. Right. Because, the owl had burnt. Right. At the event. So it was just like really wanted to combine everything together. And then that was in 2019. we finished the project. It was actually quite, it became a really big thing there.
Right. It was in the newspapers and all of that stuff. The pictures are amazing. Like, it's so colorful.
Thank
and it
you.
looks like all kinds of people came out to help you. And from the air, it's like amazing.
Yeah, that was part of the project, is that I really wanted to involve the community to be part of the process. So I taught him how to paint, which was just painting inside the line.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they all felt really happy to be part of the project. So it was like definitely it took a village there too.
Yeah.
In the following year, it was nominated as one of the best 100 top commissions art installations in the world.
That's so cool. And how long were you there for? How long did it take you to do it once you were there?
I was there for almost I had 3 projects at the time.
Right. Yeah.
For Puerto Rico, then the basketball court, and then I actually Rosalind was shooting a film, and I was the art director for the film.
Right.
So it was kind of like, it was a process of 3 months.
It was a lot. So Rosalind is the actress, Rosalind Sanchez. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. How did you guys meet?
Interesting enough, we went to the same grade school in Puerto Rico.
So you've known her since you were a kid.
We probably crossed paths.
Yeah.
Since when we were kids, she was 2 years younger than me. So
right on.
Not in the same school. Same classroom.
Right.
But interesting enough, I met her the exact day that she moved to Los Angeles. And then when she told me she was Puerto Rican, I was like, what?
Yeah.
and
we must be friends. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be friends. And it's now been 27 years, 28.
Fantastic.
So her kids are my nephew and my niece. And, we've done all our milestone kind of things in life together.
Yeah, but you've gone after big dreams, both of you, and have probably seen the ups and downs of all of that through the journey.
Oh, yeah.
When you first moved to LA, what was the dream? What did you want to do when you came here?
When I first arrived, I had just gotten my graphic design. So I wanted to work in magazines and work in, the web was not like as huge as it is right now.
Right.
But I really wanted to work in publishing and doing layouts and work, doing advertising, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And then little bit, being here for the first time, I didn't have really a job set up, even though that I had all these interviews set up.
Right.
But I needed. LA is not cheap, so you have to make money somehow.
Right.
And someone connected me with the hotel, Beverly Hills Hotel.
Right.
And on Doheny. No, sorry. Which one is that one? The Four Seasons.
Right.
The Four Seasons Hotel on Doheny.
Right.
And then and then I started working room service because I needed to make some money.
Right.
And through the process of working with all these people that were working in acting or pursuing acting,
right,
going to doing the waiter job during the night, but then going to classes during the day, the acting mosquito bit me, and I started just going to acting classes and working that kind of world. And I did quite a good amount of jobs besides the Village group that we did together. Did quite a good amount of commercials and print and all that. But then every time that I was working in film, I, for some reason, the art department just continued grabbing. I remember being mesmerized every time that I was looking at all the props and how they did the props and how to make them. And then how the color, I don't know, like for some reason I was just really infatuated by the fact of the art department. And then one day, I was actually hired to be just, again, another gig. This is before Ricky. Right. And another gig, I was hired to be a PA. And I was getting it was ice and waters and coffee and all that.
Right.
And I saw one of the producers setting up their set. Right. And I remember it was for a shampoo. It was a commercial for a shampoo.
Right.
And I looked at her And at that point, I had met her and just, had a little bit of it, like a communication.
Right.
And I said to her, hey, I think that if you put that in this side of the screen and this over here, it might look better and balance better for camera.
Right.
And he looked at me.
And she's like, who is this kid saying this shit? Yeah.
No, without missing a beat, she looks at me and said, then you do it.
Right.
And I said, oh, okay. And so I basically did what I said that I was going to do. And next time that same producer is hiring me to do Smucker's commercial, Walmart, Gillette, and you name it. Like I did a bunch of commercials with them as a site designer.
That's amazing. In these moments, like the Ricky moment where you were just you were in the right place, but you kind of asserted yourself and showed that you could do things. And they were like, we need to keep that kid around. That's amazing.
It's one of those things. It's like, just say yes.
Just say yes.
Just say yes.
What's Ricky like? What would surprise people about Ricky? Because I adore him. I've always liked him a lot. I think he's awesome.
Oh, he is adorable. Adorable, awesome.
Everything you want him to be.
He super nice, kind. Yeah. Always smiling.
Yeah.
It's definitely it was a highlight of my career to be working next to him and next to his team.
Yeah.
Because his team has been, before I showed up, before I jump in, his team has been with him for ages, since Menudo.
Right.
So he has an entourage of people that has worked with him for years. Yeah. And the way that they received me and adopted me and we hang out every night and did all this amazing fun things together and visited so many countries together and take 2 planes together. And, it was just a really amazing tour buses, you name it. We it was a family. You got to be there and hang out and just and enjoy it. And it was 7 years that I have so much happiness that I can never. Even when right now when they're doing the tour right now in Madrid and Australia and things like that, I'm so happy and so glad for them and I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
But again, I also want to dream. I mean, I want to work for my dream as well.
Right. You've got fish to put up in San Francisco. It's enough. I have a favorite Ricky Martin dancer because he was on So You Think You Can Dance. Edson. I'm sure you're friends with Edson.
Oh my God, I love Edson.
Yeah, he's my favorite. He doesn't know me from Adam. I just follow him because I saw him on So You Think. But he's a Ricky dancer.
Yeah, Edson came on our second season in Vegas.
Right on.
Yeah, and him and I mean, we, both being Latinos, it's like, we just kind of we love each other. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
It's all good.
I mean, all the dancers have nothing bad to say, but, there's a few of them that are just more loving and more, connected and they're looking for, we're going to all these countries sometimes alone.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to find your body.
You got to find your people.
Something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching the Taylor Swift documentary and all the behind the scenes of the Eras tour. And I just thought, gosh, it must be so exciting to be a part of a big tour. And you had that experience, the cavernous walkways behind, just the whole, and the crowd screaming. You got to be part of that. That's really cool.
When you're all the crowd screaming and stuff like that, sometimes I'm actually underneath the stage,
right?
And I'm receiving all the screaming and all that, and Ricky pretty much tapping on top of me. But we're moving props around. Yeah. We have to one of the things that has to happen also is that as fast as we can try to set up our stage. Yeah. We also at the end of the night, if we're only doing one night in this venue, we love when we do 2 nights because we just walk away. Right. But if you're doing one night, you don't want to make any other crew wait for you. And since I was the only person in my art department, I had to have this organization that as soon as the props were done, I'm packing them. Yeah. So I didn't have it's not like I was able to enjoy.
You're not hanging out watching Shake Your Bon Bon because it's your favorite part. I got it. You had to pack up those ties.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people should go see your stuff in San Francisco. They have to go walk along the Embarcadero. You can learn more about Nino at his website, leaveit2nino.com, and that's also his social media handle. Anything else you want to mention, plug before I have two final questions for you?
No, I mean, definitely come see the installations. I'm really excited to continue sharing. I guess LA County Fair in the month of May. That will be Coqui will be there. And then we have a few other projects on the horizon, but I'll keep it for the next time.
Yeah. Here's my final questions. I've never been to Burning Man. How would you say going there and also what you've done artistically after that, how has it changed you as a person?
Well, I mean, I think that this whole interview, it was thanks to that actually opportunity, it's also daring to say yes, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And say, like if an idea comes to mind, don't feel that you cannot do it. You can find a way to do it. Right. And in my experience, the one thing that I decided to do is like, hey, I'm going to do it whether I get funding or not. And the gratification that I have received from then, it changed my career completely.
Yeah.
Like I do now this as a full-time job, freelancing, doing our installations.
Big things. Something
that, my parents probably back in the day will not like, oh, what is Nino doing?
Right.
I was always considered the brown sheep. So like, what is, how is Nino going to make money and all that,
Oh my God. It's what we talk about on this podcast all the time. Like we have this creative thing and it drives us, but sometimes you're like, oh man, why didn't I just go to law school? What was I thinking? Right?
Yeah. But, it's so the fact that I actually had that moment, personally, and gave myself the permission to dream big.
Yeah.
If I didn't go to Burning Man when I did, I don't think I would be in the place I am right now.
Right. Exactly. And you said, I'm going to do one of these things next year, and you pulled it off, and you kept going. When I have filmmakers on or people that work on a project like that, I often ask them, what's a memory of making that you're going to remember 30 years down the line? Like, so I guess for you, like, what's a memory of these installations and working on them that was so vivid and memorable that you're like, on my deathbed, I'm going to remember this. I'm never going to forget this moment.
Experiencing the moments of building art together with my friends.
It's about the building with the people.
That process of us brainstorming together,
right?
The process of talking about what if we do it this way? Wait, what about if this way?
Yeah,
that to me is where the magic exists.
Right. If it was just you, if you were able to do it all on your own, it wouldn't be the same thing at all.
No, and the fact that like I have dear friends of mine that have told me that they dare to quit their jobs because they had that experience with me.
Right.
They dare to and then pursue their own career as artists.
Right.
I had a couple that helped me out on Mucaro, and they were offered a job in Singapore. And the wife told me, if I didn't have my experience with Mucaro, I would have said no to Singapore.
I would have been too scared.
Would have been too scared. So to hear all this kind of like feedback from people that I care and I love so much, that to me feeds my soul.
Well, I'm inspired by you. I think it's so cool. When you started posting those things, I'm like, holy shit, look what Nino's doing. Like, that's amazing. So, well done. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, friend.
All right.
I appreciate that.
I hope to see you soon, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too, and thank you very much for this time with you and letting the story continue.
Thanks again to Nino Alicea. If you're in San Francisco, go check out his artwork. I feel like making a trip just so I can do that. All right, so this happened. I just had my second cataract surgery yesterday, my right eye this time. So I've done both eyes. It is a day after the surgery. And it's a little tender, it's a little sore, it's a little blurry still, like it's a little like I think I'm just kind of at the beginning of the recovery, but I think it's going to be good. And I really wanted to get it done before the end of the year because I don't know what my insurance is going to be like next year. I actually have learned since then that it is going up, but not by as much as I had feared. So, it's going to be, it's been like a 6-month journey to get to this surgery point because they have to do these measurements and I had to wait a long time because I wear hard contacts. So anyway, it's a process, but we're near the end of it, and it's strange to get it done. You're not knocked out completely. You're given a little bit of a sedative to kind of relax you, but you're conscious for it, and the doctor will occasionally tell you to do something. Look this way or that, like a little bit of that. But it's weird. You're seeing something, but I don't know. And then afterwards, yesterday, my friend Danny, we went to a wood ranch. So I was like, this is great because you have to fast before it. So I went to town at Wood Ranch. So I don't know. It's the end of the year, and I got my eyes done, the cataract part, not a lifting. And hopefully I'll be a new man. I may never have to wear contacts again. I might need glasses for reading. I'm wearing them right now. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But everyone at Kaiser and stuff was really good and professional. My surgeon was very thorough, wanted to make sure she, did the best, made the best choices because my eyes are a little complicated in terms of the prescription and everything. So anyway, there's that. All right, heading into the new year with new eyes. Before I let you go, I want to give a shout out to Oscar Rosario for mixing the episodes. My theme music is by Mark Daniels for Placement Music. We'll catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye.